What was your starting point when you thought, right, okay, I am going to investigate.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out if this is true.
Yeah.
How do you start that?
Yeah, well, I didn't know how. Nobody had taught me how to start it. So I thought to myself, well, I better go right to the beginnings of time, where the Christians say it all began. So I wanted to look at what the Christians say about the beginnings of the universe, but to contrast what the Christians say, because I didn't want to be, biasly led down a Christian path, because I was very skeptical about Christians at the time. No offense to many of you. So I wanted the opposite view. Now, I'd been reading Stoic philosophy as an amateur Stoic philosopher for several years, and I found it fascinating, but I couldn't compare Christianity to Stoic philosophy because it wasn't different enough.
Yeah.
The big difference between, the two major difference thought processes, whatever, is Christianity and atheism.
Yes.
So I thought, well, I'll compare what the Christians say to what the atheists say. And now I knew a lot of atheists, a lot of my family members are atheists, or think they are. They think they're atheists because they've never looked at any of this. And I'd never considered myself an atheist. I always naturally felt there must be something beyond what we understand. So that's where I started. I wanted to know the origins of the universe from a Christian perspective and an atheist perspective. And I'd always thought, when thinking about the universe growing up, that it was a topic too big for my brain. How did the universe begin? And people would tell me that there are all sorts of theories. Well, there are not all sorts of theories. I discovered very quickly there was only two theories for the origins of the universe. The Christian theory, or any theist theory, that it was created by a mind, an intelligence, or the atheist theory that it created itself out of nothing.
So no third option there.
There's no third option. The universe made itself for no reason, out of nothing, with no design, or an intelligence made the universe. And when you look into those two theories, there's only one that makes any logical sense. Now, if anyone can explain to me how anything, never mind a universe, but anything, can be made out of nothing, then I'd love to hear it, because there is no academic scientist on the planet that can explain to you how this can happen. And when you think of nothing, if we emptied this room of people and chairs, there would be something in here. There'd be light and particles and air. Where the universe was born, there was nothing. And so it's a proven fact, scientific fact, because I wanted science, by the way. I wanted science, I wanted history, I want evidence. I didn't want Christian testimonials telling me this stuff. I didn't want just to believe in what I believed was a blind faith. I wanted proof. So there is no scientific proof.
So has science always said that the universe had a beginning?
No, science once believed that the universe was eternal. So Albert Einstein believed that the universe was eternal. It was the only explainable, unexplainable thing. The only explainable, eternal thing. And science, prior to the Big Bang theory of a point of beginning, were very happy accepting that the universe was eternal. They couldn't explain how it was made because it's eternal. It had always been there.
But then the Big Bang theory came along. So I guess there was some resistance to that within science.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the scientists at the time, in fact, quite liked the Big Bang theory because it was something that excited them. Albert Einstein didn't like the idea of it too much, but then he got on board. And there was some reluctance because, in fact, with the theory that the universe had always existed, it discounted God. Because if the universe was always there, had always been there, and would always be there, you didn't need a creator of the universe. The problem came with the theory, the Big Bang theory, because if the universe had a beginning, then you must explain the beginning. And this is the law of causation, which is a scientific law. It's a legal law, it's a civil law, and it's a law that we all live by. There's a reason why every single one of you are here tonight. This is the law of causation. You're sat here because somebody told you about this event and you decided to come along. You can trace it to a point. You can trace who built this building using the law of causation. Everything must have an explanation. But with the universe, this was a shock to some scientists because they knew they had to explain the origins of the universe. And the only thing that they could come up with if they were atheists was that the universe made itself for no reason out of nothing.
Right. No reason.
No reason,
nothing.
No design, no intelligence, out of nothing. Mm-hmm. And nobody can explain to you or I how that is feasible.
That's a good breaking point there. So I'd like to open us up for questions.
Yes, sir. We've got to check that.
One there and then one there to start with. Start here and then we'll move back there to...
I was fascinated that you said that when you started your investigation, instead of starting, I suppose, as many people do, with Christianity, you flipped it on its head and you started looking at it from what the people who didn't believe in Christianity would say first.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting way to approach it, because I suppose you're getting all of their answers and then letting Christianity answer that.
That's right.
Was that profitable for you doing it that way?
I think if anyone's going to go on a similar journey, do it. Search what the atheist viewpoint says about life and creation, and then search what the Christians say and contrast them and see which one makes the most sense. And I think it fast tracks you, because you realise you're not being led with bias information, because you yourself are contrasting it continually.
That's good,
So that's important.
It's interesting that you started there. You didn't start within, because you know you're only going to get one argument from within.
That's right. I needed both arguments.
Yeah. That's very good.
And I didn't know which way I was going to go. I even say in the book, I didn't know. I wondered which is the better philosophy for life, a Christian philosophy or an atheist philosophy. I didn't know. And I wasn't sure which way I was going to come out of it.
It's quite a...
Yeah.
It's quite a brave journey to go on that. That you're like, I'm going to follow where the evidence leads me.
Yes.
And not know where that's going to be.
And I had to drop my bias against Christianity, because again, if anyone was in today is in the position where I was kind of biased against Christianity, because I'd been educated, probably subliminally, away from the God of the Bible. I'd been told, certainly by family members, that Christians were a bit dim-witted, to be honest. I know, looking around, I can see that's not true at all. But, ill-educated, illogical people with no sense. And so I had these biases, and I believed that the Bible was nonsense. I believed it was fairy tales. I'd never read the Bible. So don't forget, so I was probably, looking back, leaning more to atheism in truth.